Another broken promise from Justin Trudeau. I'm Brian Lilly with Rebel.media. Try and find out what Justin Trudeau and his government plan on doing, have been doing, will do in the future when it comes to changing the access to information system. And you're going to be met with a big, ironic block in the middle of the road. That's right. Massive delays and retractions, redactions, pages blanked out, all of that going on, which is very funny because this is something Trudeau said shouldn't be happening. This is something he denounced prior to forming government. And now that he's in power, well, he's just actually making things worse. And I'm not kidding. I've been using the access to information system for a long time. Many reporters do. And Trudeau is making the system worse. But let's remember what he promised before he was Prime Minister. Back in December of 2014, going before the assembled journalists in the National Press Theatre to say that citizens had a fundamental right to know.
The ability of a citizen to access information on what a government is doing with their tax dollars in their name is one of the fundamental tenets of building confidence around government.
Okay, that was then. What about during the election campaign? Well, during the election campaign, the Liberals promised to vastly change the access to information system, to scrap the $5 fee, to open up what we could find out about government. And he made this impassioned plea on the campaign trail.
We'll run an open and transparent government. We will make information more accessible by requiring transparency to be a fundamental principle across the federal government.
So what's the reality now? Well, we've been telling you about all kinds of delays for, well, several years now, basically since they got in. But here's the ironic part. A couple of access to information requests on how they were going to change the access to information system yielded nothing. Check out this one. It's not one of ours, but we spotted it and thought maybe there's something interesting in there. So we looked through it. It asked for ministerial briefing notes on changes to the access to information system. The first 16 pages, they're just redacted completely. Page 19, redacted completely. And then on page 26, when the memo says it's supposed to be talking about their implementation of the first strata of changes, look at what's there. That's right. They just took everything away. And then at the end of the document, pages 61 to 77, all just redacted as well. Just taken out. You can't see them. This on access to information. How are you changing access to information? Sorry, we can't tell you that. Then we submitted one of our own looking for high-level bureaucratic assistant deputy minister type memos on the whole announcement to change the system. What were we told? Well, you're supposed to get a response within 30 days. They said in addition to that 30 days, they'll need an additional 150 days. So 6 months, basically, to tell us how they made an announcement to change the system back in June. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me, and it speaks to a government that wasn't serious about making the changes, because when they announced it, all the claims that they would open up ministerial offices, that they would do away with the $5 fee, that information would be open by default, it was all put to the lie. They were shown to be spreading falsehoods, essentially. They changed their minds and decided once they were in power, they don't want you to know. But of course, if you've been following our work here at The Rebel, then you've known this for a long time. Justin Trudeau's first big push, his first big project when in government, was the refugee rush. And we submitted ATIP after ATIP on that, trying to find out what the government was doing, because they just weren't being fully upfront with the Canadian people. And what did we find out? Time and again, they stonewalled. In fact, we set up the website stonewalling.ca to document how bad it was. How many times they said it would take 6 months to a year to tell us about something that was going to be well over by then. And they even said, we can't respond to you because we're too busy implementing the Prime Minister's plan, which, by the way, is not supposed to be how ATIP works. Justin Trudeau promised openness and transparency, and he still brags about it. But as these latest documents show, as his track record shows, it was just an empty promise to get votes. He never intended on doing that. He never intended on letting you know what Jerry Butts or Katie Telford or his other pals in the PMO were going to be talking about, emailing each other about. That was one of the promises, full openness on that. And instead, he's out there making sure that Jerry and Katie and his other buddies are protected. Recently, one of Trudeau's ministers, Ahmed Hussein, was bragging about promise made, promise kept, about giving terrorists that took up arms against Canada their citizenship back. Well, when it comes to ATIP, all they can say is promise made, promise broken. If you like the Rebel video you just watched, make sure you never miss another one again. Click here to subscribe.